ably represented by the PSA to the governor on social mobilization. Would you permit me to stand on the existing protocol this morning so that I can go straight into the business of the day? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you greetings. We are talking about Forward Adamawa. It's a one-day summit. I agree and accept to take this role because we are talking about something that is very important, something that is very dear to my heart. We are talking about development and necessarily talking about making development to go beyond us, to proceed to the next generation. And that is talking about sustainable development. We are here gathered, and again I agree to take the role because it is a meeting, a convergence of youths. I'm also aware that there is a representation from all the 21 local governments of our dear state, which is good. And because they are youths, this has become important to me, because there can be no future without youths ably represented, without youths taking upon themselves and making it their sacred duty to see that transformation and development is sustained. And that's the reason why this meeting is important. Unless I forget, I will want to start with a plea to say that there is need to even expand on this and make it to go across our senatorial zones so that it's taken closer to the people, to mobilize all our youths, our boys and our girls, to gather and continue with this conversation on Forward Adamawa Summit. Here we are gathered today is not about politics. It is not about personalities. It is about you and I, it is about all of us, it is about our shared destiny, and it is about what we make of today for the benefit of tomorrow. I'm not a praise singer, but when I praise a person it's because he has done substantially well, and I have the guts to say you are wrong when you stand in the wrong. And so today we are standing here talking about Forward Adamawa and how to sustain the legacies or the developments made beyond this present administration. To some people, this is too early a discussion today because we are looking at 2 years from now. But if you understand that 2 years will come like a fleeting shadows, and just like the blinking of the eye, and 2 years would have been here. And again, this is why I believe this conversation is important. We need to start this conversation before the politicking and the politics begin, and our emotions are high and we will not be able to make a reasonable decision. Because when people are steered emotionally, their reasoning is suspended, they are not able to make rational and justifiable decisions. And this is the reason why I believe this conversation is timely and it must happen now, and it is indeed happening now. His Excellency, the Governor of Adamawa State has done tremendously well. And all of you here will agree with me that we have seen development in a way that we've not seen in years past. And over the last 6 years of his administration, the trajectory of Adamawa's development has changed. And it is building upon building, layer upon layer, and we are seeing the state changing. There is virtually no sector, no aspect of our nationhood that has not been impacted. You can think of education, healthcare, agriculture, security, unity. The governor has done tremendously well. And it is important to look at these things and begin to talk about what can we do as a people to sustain that which has taken place so that generations to come would have reason to celebrate. We will do ourselves great disservice to watch all the gains that have accrued to us as a people over these last 6 years, and by the time we will converge for another leadership, it would have been 8 years. It will be a great disservice to us to see that all that has taken place have evaporated into the thin air. So it is important to talk about two things. How can we maintain that which has been done, and how can we build upon that which has been done so that it will aggregate for the emancipation of our own people? I am a development expert, and I know that any nation you see where development is taking place, it is because there is a consistency of development. It is because people are making systematic effort to keep building layer upon layer until they arrive at where they are. Let me give an example. When you go to other climes where things are working, they have gone past medical, talking about how to do surgery with human hands. Now they are talking about robotic surgeries. And today a person can see it from the comfort of his office and operate on a person in another continent far away from where he is. It is because people are taking time to keep building. And we too can do that. I believe Adamawa is at the threshold of breaking from primordial sentiments, of breaking free from poverty and anarchy, of breaking free from all the things that have stopped or mitigated our young people being gainfully employed into becoming a nation where there would be economic activities and our young people would prosper. Why is this summit important? And especially for youths like you. It is important because youths are the lowest ebb of the ladder. When you talk of unemployment, it is our youths that are largely unemployed. It has been said, and the statistics are available everywhere, that 70% of the population of Nigeria are under the age of 35. And out of that 70%, over 40% of them who are of employable age are unemployed. And many a times you find our young people moving from left to right with their hands cupped, begging and looking for alms. Our young people have been reduced to begging. That is not a good way to say it, but that is exactly what it is. You see a young person of age that wants to get married, but because there is no job, he can't get married, or she can't get married. You see a young person who is of age, but is still being fed by his parents who are of age, who ought to enter into their rest. Ladies and gentlemen, there is so much we can say as to the reason why this conversation is important. Young people, it is not up to government, it is up to you. My people gathered here, it is up to you and I to begin to think about the things that we must do to sustain the legacies of this present administration. Otherwise, we must understand that development is not a destination, it is a journey. And it then means that development is fragile. If we don't do the needful, if we don't do what is important to maintain and to save that which is done, what will happen is that we will watch everything burn to ashes. And we don't want to go back to those beggarly days. And therefore it is important that we together make it our duty to see that all that is developed is maintained, but not only maintained, but that is built upon. So we must ask ourselves, what kind of Adamawa will we want to see after the reign of our amiable governor, Right Honorable Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri? What kind of Adamawa do you want to see after this dispensation? Now is the time to begin to think. And young people, you cannot go begging for money from politicians. You cannot go looking to serve as though you are doing someone a favor. No, it is about you. It is about your future. It is about your dignity. And therefore, it is important we make concerted effort towards that direction. As I begin to round up, here's what I would love to do. I must say unequivocally with a loud voice that the governor has done well. And we are gathered here today to ask ourselves, what happens after now? What can we do after now? You look at, and I'll just talk about one thing just to make an example, and I'll round up and take my seat. When you look at the stadium that is being completed, for example, and I ask young people, what would become of that stadium? We should be able to have a situation where that stadium has become a home where our young people can find expression in terms of sporting activities, where we will be able to attract people from outside the shores of this nation to come and interface with our young people. And in the end, we should be able to have people of Adamawa, descent from Adamawa, who would go professionally playing sports of their choice. But if we don't make the right decision now, that stadium might come a day, there might come a day that what you are going to see in it will be weed and it will be dilapidated. Ladies and gentlemen, the question is, are you willing to see Adamawa proceed from where we are? Are you happy with the progress that is being made? I am fully aware that the governor has not finished all. In fact, he does not have what it takes to finish all. It's the sad reality of leadership that after every 4 years, we go into election year. Otherwise, if I have a veto power, and this is my idea of leadership, to say we perpetuate a leader who is working, so that we don't begin to snowball backward. This is very important, that when a person is doing what is well, you keep him to continue to do. But leadership is transient, and this is putting a demand upon us to make the right decision so that the things that we are seeing does not become obsolete. His Excellency will not be happy to see all that he has lived doing. And I know that there are many more things in his heart that he will want to do, but time would fail him. And his greatest heart desire would be to see someone who would build upon what he has done and to continue to do even better than him. And that would make him, thank you, I think it's a good place to clap, thank you. I believe that will be his greatest heart desire. And I believe for as long as he's alive and he sees Adamawa making progress, he would be happy. And he's going to grow into aging as a happy man. But for that to happen, you and I must make the choice today. May I invite you to a place where we celebrate this man, even our governor. I am determined to do this when I knew that I am going to be the guest speaker, to say that I will crave your indulgence to celebrate him. Whether he is present or he is absent. No, hold it. Hold it a bit. Hold it a bit. I said I'm going to call us to do that, whether he is here or not. Because sometimes leaders need to be encouraged to know that people are happy with what they are doing. Has he finished all? No. Are there people who are unemployed here? No. But is he setting the platform that would make that employment begin to take place in our dear state? The answer is yes. And for that reason, I will invite you to be on your feet and to celebrate with a rousing applause our governor, Right Honorable Ahmadu Fintiri. I believe you can do better if you believe that he has served us well. And wherever he is, I pray that someday you will get to see this, that the people of Adamawa are happy with you, and we are thankful that God has sent you our way in this season. Thank you for touching on our educational system. And today, Adamawa is being rated high when you look at NECO and WAEC. Thank you because our teachers' salaries and allowances have improved. And thank you because the civil service is beginning to function. Thank you because during your reign, we have seen improved security. Thank you for all the things that you have done. We are equally grateful for the things that have not been done, because we know that you are such a man that when you hear, you add to it. And someday we'll talk about that. Ladies and gentlemen, it is your duty to make sure that the conversation Adamawa Forward is sustained. And it must not be a conference as usual. It must not be something that you have come for and it ends here. I challenge you because it is about your future. I challenge you because it is about your posterity. It is about our common destiny. I challenge you because it is about your children unborn. What kind of Adamawa will you leave for them? We can't continue in mediocrity. We must build upon where we have found ourselves, and Adamawa can only become a rallying point, an enviable state where people will begin to ask, what are you doing? So that they can learn, and this way we'll get the emergence of a new Nigeria. Can you please celebrate with a clap offering as you take your seat? Thank you, and thank you. God bless Adamawa State, and God bless our governor. Thank you.